their way around it. And Thatcher's already banned.
What is this? They love the Thatcher ban, don't they?
They hate him. They loathe that poor Englishman. He is taken out of the equation, and then a lot of time here for Furious to think of what they wish to ban next at this point. Obviously, you know, we said there's, I assume, Maverick. I would say some sort of semblance of hard destruction, surely. Hibana, yep, that's, again, a good one to kind of get rid of. Gives forces a little bit more succinct hatch control and makes them have to play it a bit harder and a bit tighter and a bit tougher now. And that's the option of what they want to remove out of INTZ's defense.
Standard so far. There's the Valkyrie, another common one. Maybe not as useful towards that basement, but heck, sure, that Tellers is a great place for her. Upstairs especially, if you can try and get some of the cameras out in the palm trees, out towards that front side of the bank. You can try and stop any window repels, which isn't really a big thing. Window repelling across anywhere. Nobody really touches, you know, those 8 windows that are kind of sanctioned there, which they basically shut down an entire bomb site. But it feels kind of because your combination with the fact that lobby is so big and it gives you that roam potential, you can kill people, of course, repelling on it. I would like to see some more window play.
Well, it's worth noting that Maestro and Echo still both on the board. Going to bring Echo. Maestro's had a really good run of play today in terms of how these teams have liked to play and how they've liked to hold it. And it's, you know, the LMG in their hands is absolutely monstrous. Mozzie and Pulse and Echo is actually going to be 6th off to Maestro. And I think that's, you know, as I said, they've been really, really good at utilizing his kind of skills and his effectivity. Monty going to be bought. We've seen him once or twice today, swapped out from DeKB, so that gives him a little bit more of a slow and steady push, and I guess we'll see if they can find a way to make this all come together. Basement is the standard go-to first, and I assume we'll see something with a bit more of a kind of solidity. We've got stuff like the Pulse that we called for before. From INTZ, when we saw this site at the very beginning of the day, they weren't really bringing the information to get themselves some locked off. They were kind of trusting on their long arm and their throwing to carry this across, so I guess we'll see. Valkyrie removed as well. For me, it's a big part of LATAM as a region. They love Valkyrie. They love how mobile she can be. They love fragging with the MPX and that kind of brutality that it can bring in the right hands. Nesk kind of defined what she can do for an entire game and an entire global scene, so her being removed, I guess it's, you know, it's one of those kind of, yeah, she's pretty good for these guys.
I know that you touched upon the Maestro.
Yeah.
Maestro isn't really banned unless you're from NA. Don't know what it is. Just NA, not a big fan of the Maestro. There is one map which I do see sometimes teams would ban Maestro, and that's Consulate, simply because of the impact that he gives in that garage where he can literally kill people from outside the breach. And Maestro, I think, great. Both teams want to play the Maestro because he's great at holding down that long angle that we kind of focused on in the Liquid match. Boar, maybe don't give yourself away like that, because that is, again, a risky one.
Well, I mean, welcome to LATAM. Zupa wasting no time, already trying to clear this top floor with a lot of sugar in his system as he swings around from point to point and corner to corner. He is wasting no time. And
what is this man's DPI?
Really confusing the eyes right now. Suddenly he's in one room and the next he's in another. There is the Monty trying to push down on blue, battling against this smoke and eating up those remote gas canisters, which is quite a big utility to try and use just for this slow down. Maverick is trying to burn stuff behind, and Monty is just acting as a mobile cover as they try and get the hatches open, pushing up and trying to find someone over the shoulder of the Monty mountain, but nothing as of yet. The has at least found a bit of ground, but there is the second gas canister gone as it pushes him back out and up those stairs.
This is great from Skills. This is exactly what you want your Montagna doing, baiting out those smoke canisters, making this smoke feel as uncomfortable as he can, and that just allows Maverick to go ahead and open up the hatch without really any processing. Quite interesting, even more so, they've left it not destroyed. They've only opened up a little bit, and that means that whenever they finally go in for the plant, they're not going to get flanked and have to worry about an open hatch. That's really good thinking.
Yeah, it's a clever way of kind of getting the control that you want inside and forcing the man back. And there he is, lying down and staring lovingly at his final canister and when he's going to throw it, because there's a minute still on the board and they're knocking on the diffuser door right now as they throw and dance around with the Monty, trying to bait any more utilities, C4s and whatnot. But currently it's just a matter of trying to hold angles as there goes the final gas canister. Not going to plant on it because they really don't have to, but at this point the guns of the defenders are going to have to find a way closer to the point. Drunks is looking for the rotate round the backside and try and find something as the Maestro Cam zaps absolutely everything that it can, but with Monty being a physical wall between this diffuser carrier and the many, many guns, the C4 goes over the top and does catch... Oh no, it's the guns that catch two. Duds and Drunks find something as the C4 finds nothing, and this is an absolute battle against this wall.
VNX looking to go in big with the commando. Still just lying in wait. Doesn't have the nitro cell, and Monty getting battered and bruised and has to force their way back out, and really not enough time now for Furious to do anything they can. Just down to the Maverick in a 1v4. Little HP, no hope, no chance. No round for them. INTZ, they take the first one. Furious had a lot more time than I think they were kind of thinking that they didn't have. There was at least 30 seconds there they could have baited out a lot more stuff.
Yeah, and I will say that was exceptional use of their kind of gadgets and secondaries from INTZ. Like, the balance of holding them and throwing them and, you know, and just waiting. And yeah, at the very beginning I said Smokes used 2 of his canisters, fantastic play of the Monty to get them out.
Didn't die though, which was the main thing.
Exactly. Didn't die, came back to point. They had at least 2 C4s that they could fall back to as well. You know, and that is a demonstration of how to manage your utility on a point like that. And that's down to time, it's down to, you know, communication, it's down to kind of the balance of just feeding the information amongst the team.
Yeah, exactly. So top floor is where we head for INTZ. ACOGs galore, that's what we're expecting. That's why another one's going to be brought onto the table. Echo there, actually 6 pick off the dock. And that's for good reason. Because we know that Valkyrie is banned, Valkyrie Echo are a deadly combo if you leave them alive. That means IQ always has to be 100% pick rate if both of them are there. If there's just the one, you can get away with not bringing the IQ. But probably for this bomb site especially, you know, Echo can be pretty detrimental. And if Furious seen the Echoes being picked up, IQ would probably been 6 picked off. And, you know, then vice versa would have been there for the counter. But since now they don't know Echo's going to be brought, they didn't bring the IQ, and now there's going to be a lot of issues being caused. But solid lineup from Furious. That's what we kind of expect. You have that soft destruction, of course, from that buck. Probably would have liked to have seen a Sophia or an Ashe, simply because there is Maestro, which is probably going to be commonly taken, and whenever they know that there's also a castle on the board, they may have issues with that. Oh wait, what am I saying? There's a Sophia on the board. Am I tripping or something?
I think you just had a long night of your first night of LATAM. And it takes some getting used
crazy.
to. Yeah, it takes some getting used to. They've
I didn't even see that Sophia.
dug in onto the Kanto corner, which is obviously much harder to break when you do not have the Hibana to get it from range, and they're just going to try and start to clear from underneath because it's a very real fear that a LATAM player has dug in on Garage and waiting for any opportunity to run out and completely tear your, well, everything apart, really. Zupa, yet again, with the pace of 1,000 Suns and the DPI to match, is pushing aggressively up those lobby stairs, but is shut down before he can get anywhere close to making a deposit as Duds opens it up for INTZ.
Echo Drone, what we talked about. Great intel. That replacement for the Valkyrie in many circumstances, especially if they're trying to play in towards lobby. It still amazes me that Echo's drone can reach that high.
I know, it's really well built for a man that loves to just lie down and sleep all the time and let someone else do it because they're so lazy.
Clever laziness? Is that the way it is?
Yeah.
Is that the quote he says, or is it something else?
Yeah.
It's something is clever laziness.
Is clever laziness.
That's it. That's what we're looking for.
I love my man Echo. Right. Drunks is trying to hold onto a wall as they start to enter via lone and see if they can get someone on the top floor. But without the, well, you can see the haunting ghost of the Echo drone sat on the top as Vinix just waits to be able to charge out and find another body. They're actually just going to take the repels from those big windows. And no, Zofia is knocked out of their duds with the second. And look at that, just straight back on the camera. And that is an Echo player that is in, he's fishing for bodies at this point.
Oh, he's loving life. He's in the deep pool. Another one for INTZ. Furious just at a roadblock. There is nothing that they have been able to get on the board. They've finally entered into some point of the map. Echo Drone does get taken out, I think, or did it just miss that? Yeah, it just barely missed the shots from the F2, but still. Doesn't matter. As FJ, he's been got. They've got him. Fluke, he's down. Actually baiting his teammate here.
You know
There's
what?
a spray on through.
Why not? Well, they're trying to find their way in at this point, and now it is, well, at least pulls one back their way. Vinix gets taken down in the meantime, and it's the F2 trying to find 30 seconds of magic here, but without much health, with a Maestro, an Echo, and a Jaeger left. You see the drone, and the drone sees you. Manages to get a pop-off before rotating out into janitors as well, like a naughty little school child, and now it's just a matter of trying to, again, find a way in. The Echo drone is dancing in front of you, baiting the Twitch, and with 10 seconds left, a diffuser, but no real hopes. There's only really one way that that round can go. Two angles, high and low, are what shut you down.
INTZ, great opening start, I feel. Great synergy, along with that Echo drone being established there. I also love the fact that there's a lurking roamer in towards that mid floor. A spot that a lot of teams kind of overlook is that tellers, and I always try and put the focus in towards that mid floor, because whenever this bomb site is so destructible, and there is operators there with C4s, you know, Mozzie's up in there. Really, anybody with a Nitro Cell can play below and can do real damage whenever people try to push in for the breach and go for the defuse. And you can, that mid floor, it kind of revolves around that.
It's also worth mentioning, for those of you that probably have noticed it, especially any INTZ fans out there, that Wits is currently playing in place of Intact. Intact tweeted earlier today, and this will be a Google Translate because it was tweeted in Portuguese, that they've just taken a break for a little bit because they just moved away to take care of their health. They'll post more. They want everyone to cheer on for INTZ as much as they can, and they'll be back soon, hopefully. But all the love out there to Intact, and hopefully they're at least watching their team do as well as they're doing from home, where they can get themselves a little bit of rest, a little bit of recuperation is the word there for Intact. But Vinex is setting themselves up. They're going for this Teller's hold here. Vitz is obviously the stand-in, playing the Mozzie and playing well so far. See if they can fly the flag of Intact as they get themselves ready to do what looks like a pretty aggressive upstairs hold. The Alibi is setting open some pretty big peak holes, going to probably set some traps there across. I love the fact that one's at the mid-range and one's at the foot range, just to give themselves a little bit more creativity in the hold. Is this going to be something silly aggressive?
Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb and
We'll have to see. Oh, the very common spawn peek in towards that park alley. But nobody's there for him to get a kill with that MX4 Storm. You know, you look at INTZ. They haven't had the greatest time in their past matches.
No.
4 losses, 1 draw. Granted, they had a really tough last 3 games. They had NIP, which they drew against, and then FaZe and Liquid.
I mean, obviously, out of all the teams that we've kind of seen set up so far, they're still a Pro League team, sure. But they're ones that we always talk about form, and especially in a region like LATAM, where they can really have these big swings up and big swings down, and it's a very kind of passionate method of play. And it can really kind of affect how stuff goes, even against games like this. And, you know, we talked about it with Liquid, where they've suffered those kind of swings as well, and were able to pull it back round and get themselves up to the 3rd place. But there was a period of the season where it wasn't looking so great. And INTZ are just kind of in the middle of that swing right now, unfortunately. And I guess we'll see if OGA can be a time where they can find their feet again.
Yeah, spread their wings and fly. And hopefully fly straight into the next round, because they still have to go against Furious and Boar. Getting frisky from below, trying to eliminate people playing on those windows. And, well, typically for this mid floor, top floor is everything for the attack. They're bringing soft breach, so we know they're going to try and opt for that route. And I also like the fact that Echo is not being brought by INTZ, so pretty much that IQ isn't going to be as valuable. You know, what's she going to take out? Not a whole lot.
Well, Boris still left alive underneath, looking for a C4, but with no information to kind of lead it. It's just going to beep away
it's
now.
Just there.
Trios a pre-place. In the meantime, Doubt has found the way inside and takes down Duds, looking for the electronics underneath. There is the charges, and there is a wall that the often forgotten hard destruction can finally find a way to break through on. FJ has control from lone across the corridor as well. Wait for anyone to rotate back around, which is going to make this much harder for INTZ to find their feet back inside the point, as Buck is happy and ready to just keep on cracking open and see if they can find a bit more of a body beneath.
Everything's going to plan for Furious at this stage. You know, they've got that first pick, breach is open, Buck upstairs in Wonderland, doing whatever he can to find any angles and any kills. Of course, trying to upset any anchors playing inside of a bomb site, which doesn't seem to be. So it is going to come down to the retake potential for INTZ. But there's so many angles been helping Furious. Right beside the wall is where the plant goes in. But as everybody tries to peek on out, everybody falls. Furious now quickly wrapping away. 4v4, but there's still one member down from INTZ, and as long as Buck has that control of upstairs, they should be in a good position. The retake comes in from Mozzie. Oh, what a shot! Zuper just, that's what we call a great reaction flick, especially with a C8. Now Bandit has it all to do. Did pick up the Kaid, but all that in vain, of course. As Bandit swings on round and Kaid takes up the same position. That's going to be a great round for Furious.
Yeah, well played there from Furious to kind of get in and get control. Obviously, the vertical became such a big part of that, and I guess maybe they just didn't expect as much of a powerful push upstairs, and INTZ couldn't quite find a way to slow it. And as soon as the Buck was in there and cracking open everything they needed, from that point on, it was pretty simple for them to keep control of it. Now, we go back to the point rotations, head back to a lockers and basement point that we said was very, very well held previously from INTZ, and it was. The balance of utility and how long it took to cook it was just perfectly put together. Can Furious find another way around? Obviously, they kind of hit a bit of a dead end, even with the pace that Monty cooked out the pockets of smoke. From then on, there was still so much left to do, unfortunately. Echo is the 6th pick from Maestro, the reverse of what we saw last time. And Mozzie and Pulse still there to gather as much information and destruction as they can.
Attackers need to locate and defuse bombs.
4th round for INTZ. They go down to their basement. Echo, this time also being chosen. No Maestro, though. They've sacrificed it. Intrigued to why they would go for that play whenever I thought Maestro was pretty comfortable in the position he was playing instead of Garage. We know it's a great position for Maestro, has that immediate long angle. But instead of Echo being chosen, and Furious, who now have kind of caught on and realized, yes, that one round we didn't pick IQ, it really cost us for the Echo. No more mistakes, we were picking it every single round. Then they wouldn't pick the Echo. So I doubt that that drone is going to have any say in this round. Well, it shouldn't unless IQ gets picked off pretty early on.
5 seconds left.
So INTZ also bringing in the Pulse, which I love to see. You know, you have that Pulse instead of gold. It is a constant information gatherer tool. C4 as well to help with the denial, so they still have 4 forms. They have the 2 C4s in both Mozzie and on Pulse. You have the smoke canisters, of course, in the smoke, and then the Echo drones if they manage to live, if they get past the IQ.
Yeah, it's just stacked, and Vitz is going hard on trying to get the early
I like
information.
this, so this is great.
Yeah, really wants to know where they're coming from and how they're coming. Drunks is still doing some house architecture as they open up all the rotations and possibilities of throwing those C4s. As we've already said, LATAM is a region that can just Kobe a C4 from one location and it ends up in a completely different map at the feet of 3 operators. It's just a pleasure to see the mechanics and weight that goes into how they utilize their utility. Boar is now going to play inside the garage and trying to find a way onto the bins, and finally gets it just to turn away. But the Echo drones are there to keep all the information that they need. FJ swings in upstairs and they're going for a bit of pace on the close down, but without the Monty, they're going to have to try and take it a little bit more with a face check and a little bit more brutal as Dowett tries to get the long angle from above. Skills is holding it off too, but they just need the man in there to make a mistake with this strategy, and so far we've seen him not make too many.
Drunks locked and loaded with the shotgun. ADS is all burned away. Nade gets tossed in, but a quick rotate away from the smoke. Also, the gas canister gets blown up. He tries to go for the throw, but it doesn't matter. Oh, but then there's a double kill being applied by Skill, but still gets down nonetheless. But that's great from Furious. That's a big payoff.
Well, with the Buck off the table as well, it's, you know, a kind of tough moment for them, but they're still trying to find their way inside. Obviously, they've still got the Maverick to open up the vertical and get some control over those holes, and there goes that connector wall, a big, big important thing. But with Boar still on the table, you assume that they have the ability to at least do some kind of plant denial and plant diffuse, well, not diffusing, but stop it being planted and keep the eyes across it as well. There's the IQ coming out, so it's only a matter of time, and good move to get the Echo drone out of there, because that IQ would very quickly shut down a very, very important part of your defense. Maverick is trying to find a way upstairs, but Pretzel just pushes right in, and Boar is suddenly completely out of the picture. Vitz couldn't get that on his scanner, does find the Maverick as he hops over the close wall, but that is another person dead. Throws the C4 too little too late as the man rotates around the back, does get the man as well. Pulse suffers in the piles of money as Dowett closes down on Vinx as well.
Another picturesque round for Furious. They just took that opportunity. I would like to highlight the Mozzie on that roam game. Little bit too slow in terms of the rotation ability that they had. They should never, ever allow that Sophia to walk in as freely as what she did.
Yeah, and she just pushed and pushed as well, and there was suddenly all the free real estate in the world was in the hands of that Zofia, and from then on it was kind of easy pickings. 2-2. INTZ have suffered 2 rounds in a row after winning 2 so pretty convincingly. It's a great response here from Furious to be able to start pulling this ground back as we head back to lockers. Again, a tough one to lose sometimes, and we'll see if they can find a bit more of a convincing way to hold it. They have, yet again, baited out the Maestro, though this time it is with the Kaid.
Don't really know what impact the Kaid's going to have whenever Maverick is chosen by FJ nearly every single round, so intriguing prospect to try and go for the Kaid trick. Granted, we did see skills open up that just with a simple thermite charge, open up that breach, that hatch. That's whenever he was able to get that quick double kill onto that Jaeger and smoke alike. So if they want to try and hold it, then we could see, of course, that Kaid come in. It just kind of forces FJ to move over there and open up that hatch rather than something else.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing that they're kind of, that they lost a little bit, and they just want to slow down some of the pace that Furious had when they were starting to break down. Because, yeah, it kind of, it doesn't stop a Maverick, but being zapped and having to be a little bit more slow about your positioning can sometimes be a big difference here. It also has the ability to maybe just slow them on the wall as well. Thatch is out of the table, so they've got to find a way to be able to get that Kaid charge, which again, as you said, forces them to choose different hatches first if they want to get the wall open the way they want to get the wall open. But otherwise, for now, Kaid has thrown all of his electric claws. No tricking, unless the trick is that he's going to shoot you in your face as you round your way into garage.
So now Furious, they will begin their attack. They move in very swiftly. Again, this man he's hyped up in something. Whatever he wants, whatever he has, I want it.
Zupa is like using 2 mice at this point with the pace that he can swing that round. Going to burn all of these ADSs as they did last time, and Maverick is trying to find his way in through that hatch without suffering the little zaps that can offer. A quick takedown there, but there's the first frag grenade thrown out. It rolls down and the smoke canister goes back against it. No one's caught yet, but it's only a matter of time. Still holding the close angle with the shotgun. The second frag grenade is being cooked, rightfully so, backs off. Catches the ADS that are already long burnt. No victims there. Just shoots him with the shotgun. Just runs in through the smoke as well. It's the smoke that ends him. Throws the third one. Worried about an immediate push. Catches the flash. But at this time, he's still just going to aggressively try and hold this with it. As they have the hatch open, they're trying to find the man underneath inside service. They know that the rotation is done, but here it comes.
There's 2 of them in behind the server rack. Yes, they've eliminated smoke, but do they know there's both of them just playing in there? One of them being the Pulse, which is just a constant thing, but no, it actually seems to be one of them decided to escape from there. Duds has pulled his way back, and, well, still, that Pulse trying to play as aggressive as he can. Just waiting for something to make a move. Actually moves over in towards Dirt Tunnel.
I did get a cheeky double out of it, one with the C4 that was nice to see after how late timed the other one was. The diffuser's cold and thermite's off the table, which is a pretty big thing on this point because it makes breaking in much harder, much tighter, especially when it's something that your team has relied on, that default plant. And now, obviously, with the Maverick still on the board, they can at least try and burn some holes. There goes one, and there goes the second, caught in the middle of a rotation. FJ is really having a good game so far, and, well, he's got to have a great one to be able to pull themselves back into this. Has Breaching Torch left, can burn a close hole, but it would eat a lot of time, and there's still a Mozzie on the board, and a C4 goes straight past. No, it does not! Catches the man as he tries to escape from it. Brilliantly timed, and it was like this was the moment he knew as it froze in midair.
Zuper very early on took that aggressive fight with the smoke on the stairs. Why was nobody else there ready to go for the refrag? And even that, he should never have done that. Let's be real here. They had plenty of time to try and coordinate and push him out. It's a weird prospect. Is Zuper like the unknown Brazilian twin? Actually, he's not Brazilian. I'm pretty sure he's Chilean, isn't he? The unknown Chilean twin of Super from NA.
Potentially.
Is he like the good twin? Because we know Super's the bad twin.
I guess maybe we'll find out one day. Maybe if they both go to LAN. Maybe we'll find out. We'll put them next to each other. Let's get some red string and like Pepe Silva. Who is Pepe Silva? who is Super's evil twin, or
Yeah.
good twin. Executive Lounge, CEO Lounge, we head on to next for the final potential defense. INTZ probably looking at wanting this quite desperately at this point. Because if they go into 3-3 on the split, and they've now got to push the attack against a Furious Gaming that has so far looked pretty solid on their teamwork and on their coordination, it could find themselves in a bit of a tight spot here. This has been pretty bitter battle so far, and we've still got a fair bit left to go as they start to crack open, ready for impact tricking and any such shenanigans on those top walls. Obviously, last time we were at CEO, they took it pretty convincingly with the Echo drone that was on the top. IQ's on the board now. We assume they won't get away with that kind of stuff again, but you never really know. There is such, as you said, a height to that room that it becomes kind of hard to pick from certain angles before you just, well, get picked yourself.
Attackers must locate and defuse a bomb.
Castle, big impact operator, of course, in towards this top floor, cuts off a lot of crucial angles, and whenever the attackers, they kind of favor pushing in towards, I would say, that kind of garage area where sometimes we see ACOGs kind of lurking around and different things like that. Sanctioning off different angles does come in quite heavily, and more intriguing enough, Castle's straight downstairs in our own game.
I mean, roaming castle, why not? You know, keep them active, keep them out there. Drunk's making some little patterns to shoot through, like little delicate flowers of death as they set themselves up and try and take control of square side, swinging in. Now it's just a matter of waiting to be peeked upon. There is the body underneath in server stairs. Do they know he's there? They're gonna claymore it. But is that going to be enough to stop the man who just kind of sits and waits? Zupa, again, with the speed of 1,000 men, is swinging around and trying to find something as Vanex rotates all the way underneath, realizes can't get over the Claymore, and they're going to try and frag grenade
he impacted it. He impacted the Claymore, and that's why they run away, and there's the C4s. I think that was pre-placed. And this is the kind of impact that we discussed around, you know, the whole thing that skylight is all destructible. You know, you literally kill people before they even get in towards that skylight. You can kill them from outside it. You know, I've seen times where somebody has shot a hole and tossed it right up and has landed out in the balcony.
Well, there was Duds trying to get the body on the side. Almost, I'll put some bullets into the hard destruction there. Thermite quick enough to respond and drop down a little bit, so Skills didn't get the didn't get killed. But they're still alive and still able to crack open the wall if they can get a bit closer. Pretzel's looking on this window trying to find a battle here, but with the looming presence of an Echo that could also rotate back, there's only so much time you have to do this before you find yourself the victim, and there he is expecting the wide run and expecting the peak, but with a minute on they've got to find something to do. Castle's still out and about as Boar finds Dowett. He's just got a lot of space and a lot of time right now, and Furious are looking a little bit out of ideas.
INTZ have full control. It seems to be as soon as Furious slow down and they're on the back foot, they just don't have anything going for them whatsoever. Can't even get in to the next breach because those mute jammers are still lurking around with no Thatcher. Means they're there to stay. And there's a quick lobby rotation. The reason why we don't really play in those windows as much towards that later game without having control of said lobby. Fuse are trying to get planted, but of course they're stuck between a rock and a hard place at the moment. Down comes in, and their skills get finished off, and INTZ yet again another round for them, and they take a nice half. 4-2.
Well, it was a pretty good move there from the Zofia, because to get the Zofia even, because the Zofia dropped the Echo, who went for the peek against the windows for the second time.
Yep.
And then they just doubled down on the rotate, thinking, well, they're not going to think we're going to do it twice, and then got the frag out of it, managed to take care of the woman on the windows that was causing such an issue. Now we'll see if they can find some way of making their attacks as convincing as some of those defenses, because, you know, you've got to be extra on point when you're attacking a Brazilian defense on bank.
If you look at our past two series, Liquid one and the Gaming one, this is night and day in terms of what we kind of seen. It is so much more slower, a lot more methodical. Teams are actually droning for a change, which is a new one. I'd still say there's still that LATAM aggressive nature that still exists. You know, there's still those first kind of bloods that happen in, you know, the first 30 seconds, whatever it is. There is still a lot existing here, but it's not to the same level. It's a lot more pacifist from probably the attackers more than anything. They play a lot more slower, but that may be costing the players from Furious a lot more. You know, you look at whenever they start to slow down, they're sitting there with nothing really open by that minute mark because they've lost their first kill.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is definitely slower, definitely more pace. I think the balance.
Welcome to the chill channel.
I think the balance is made up in Zupa's settings. They have to slow the game down for him to put all the extra speed into his settings and into his DPI and his sensors. So Warden picked for the first time today. First time so far.
Man in a suit, looking fresh, looking clean.
Gonna put him in the blue stairs with a shield and try and hold on to it, as we've seen it done before. You know, it's a very good way of holding this aggressively. I've never seen it this aggressively, though. Okay, he's not going to go for the spawn peak, just going to soft that door so we can get a little bit of premonition as they approach. But there's many, many windows and many, many doors, Warden.
Hold on a minute. If Warden's here, who's protecting the president?
The president doesn't need protecting right now. He's watching OGA PIT from the safety of his home.
Yes, even the White House tunes in.
Exactly. Hello, the White House. Venex is droning ahead, seeing why that's closed and realizing no one's in there and just kind of pointing that out. They will know, obviously, someone is holding this. The hatch is hard and the beeps are going from the ADSs around the corner. There's the slightly pulled back reinforced shield. They haven't gone with the flat on approach where they're indoor or behind the door. They want to kind of force them around the angle and I guess try and catch it out. It makes grenading it a bit easier, but the amount of information caught by IQ there.
Yeah, it's seen the pulse more importantly, so they know there's going to be another man supporting. So yes, equally the IQ can see the pulse, Pulse can see her. So it kind of works both ways, but of course Pulse doesn't know that it's an IQ that he's looking at. So Maverick will begin destruction in towards that main hatch that kind of covers that entire A bomb site, which I like that they're covering that first, because if the roamers do get pushed out of the server, they're going to have to run back into A, and that gives them the free kill first of all. That breach has been open, so there hasn't been really any contest from Furious to kind of stop that. They're giving INTZ what they want. They know the positions of Furious, more importantly. They know there's one in towards the server rack. There's a Capital Bolt that forces right into Board's sightline, and even FJ tried to get something on the board, also falls, and this gives INTZ a great chance now for an excellent attack.
See, that's the one downside about putting that shield a little bit further down the stairs, is it doesn't really give you the cover of the threat onto the drop down. If you got it closer to the door, then they kind of have to deal with you first. Zupa suffers a fair chunk of damage, is just going to pull back into the locker's point and try and long arm these smoke canisters rather than throw their life away, which is fair. I like the little half wall that they've put on the little corner there. It's a bit of a use of utility, and they're just going to try and use it to barricade some bullets and make sure they find themselves a little bit more safe. There's a C4 that is torn, but I didn't hear it get released, so they're just trying to hold on to it now, as INTZ need to find a way to shut down into the point, and with some utilities still on the board, including the smoke canisters and the nitro in the pocket of Pulse, it's a bit of a tight situation. The Capital Bolts go out, Maestro's still deep with the LMG, and it's down to Witz to try and close this down or keep his attention as they just push in. Drunks goes hard, and Zupa and Pretzel find two, and amongst it, the C4 finds another. Witz finds Pretzel in the meantime, 2 versus 2, with the smoke on no health, but still with a piece of gas in his pocket. They need to try and find a way to close down. Pulse is watching the point and the diffuser. Witz finds another one and another one. Brilliant play there from Witz to bring themselves back into the game.
Boy, if it wasn't for Witz, they were in a rough spot. Playing in towards that garage has great cover, great angles, and yeah, Furious, it was a great attempt. I thought there was great utility being used by them. Maybe not so much in the first half, of course, because they lost those first 2 kills, but in the end, it looked pretty solid. You know, C4 hits were landing, but just Witz, he won that single-handedly, and you know, a 5-2 for INTZ, and already their attacks look pretty scary.
Wow, 5-2, as you said, and you know, we're going back to lockers. It was a very good shutdown. I think handing them control of Hatch that quickly was a bad move. That's where, for me, everything started.
Where's the Kaid? You know, we've discussed this.
There he is now. He's just shown up to the
Warden's gone, though.
Yeah,
feels bad.
Warden didn't really do a huge amount, did he? He swapped out for the Kaid for a bit more hatch control, which makes sense for me. That's from, like, you know, that handing over that territory that quickly, because the reason you reinforce that hatch is because you're going to hold on to blue and you're going to use that aggressively. But then they pulled their blue stairs defense so far back that at that point, INTZ felt no threat for cracking open the hatch, so they just did it. And yes, we saw Warden try and get a bit aggressive when the bolts started to come down, but at that point, because you've got to get around your own defenses, you're coming in off the back foot, they've just hold the angle and wait for you to swing around. You know, it just... make them have to deal with you first before the hatch is generally what you want that operator to do. If they've got no fear of you, well then we saw what happens.
Same setup for INTZ pretty much. I like the addition of the Capitao. It helps a lot in terms of clearing out server. Also could help if you want to try and clear out the stairs beside server as well. It could have been a good option if you're having issues with anybody there. You can just simply quick peek an arrow. We know how big that radius is. It is ridiculous. Please, Ubisoft, don't make any bigger, even though, of course, the rank stats, they look at Capitao as a really weak operator in terms of the kind of win rate. But in competitive, he's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's the joy of stats and how they kind of work. Skills opens up the frags against Drunks there. That's Capitao off the table with the run out, and Jaeger gets taken care of as well. Dud's just kind of waited, and that's the first big window jump out we've seen today.
Good pick, though. That's great utility you're trading off there. Jaeger's already placed down ADSs. He's placed down his barbed wire. Capitao, didn't see any arrows being shot for him. So that was a good trade-off. So I'm glad to see that Furious are kind of trying to catch INTZ, and you don't give a team who are looking really good on attacks, especially on this basement, you don't give them that option to still have utility available. You need to try and cause an upset. You need to take one of those cogs away from the big machine.
They've opened up themselves some angles. Super, again, the man of a million coffees, is ready and swinging around and trying to find something, but they're generally just, again, look how much slower it has been getting control of this point. Just from the slight change of operators, there's now 1:20 left, and they've barely managed any headway into the building and into the room itself now. They've been a bit slow and steady, a bit cautious. As they finally make their way down blue to join IQ, haven't even got the hatch open as they try to crack open default. Now they've obviously still got smokes to contend with, they've got C4s as well, but at least they've got the default plant spot open, and they're going to go and try and cover the back and make sure no one comes in from behind. Maverick still needs to kind of do a little bit of work, but to be fair, Vitz did so much work in the previous round, maybe he's just taking a little bit of a slow and steady approach. FJ
still has that Nitrocell in hand, can get ready to go with it, of course, and you know, there's so much denial on the board for Furious and INTZ. They either have to try and bait that out, when it has to be right now. They need to bait it out right this instance, or else all three of those smoke canisters will stall it this round indefinitely, or they go for the quick push and the quick drop, the aggressive nature, much more riskier, but if they have the gun skill to back it up, then they have nothing to worry about. Pulse, great operator, this is how he is excelling, just gives out that information. Smoke knows he doesn't have to go for it, and here comes a quick aggressive play. I think Thermite's going to try and plant in a much more offside position. C4 gets tossed out, but lands nothing as the plant tries to come in, but here comes the shots rattle back and forth. A trade comes in, but still there's the C4, stops the planter, more importantly 1v3, all down to VNX, but no time, no kills, no way out. Lockout round for Furious.
5-3, and the gap gets a little bit shorter, but Lockers losing it once and winning it once is tough on defense, especially with how it was kind of lost before. Glad to see they reinvigorated their defense, brought the Kaid and used that to just slow the roll of INTZ, but now you've got to move to points that aren't so solid. We've already seen that they can attack pretty well and pretty varied. Drunks is going to bring the gridlock so far, obviously can 6-pick off. And in the meantime, we've seen a couple of ACOGs and a couple of long range, a couple of solid walls in the pockets of the Furious defense.
CEO, for the pickup of Furious, was it kind of expected this is where teams rotate towards, is that second floor? From your kind of understanding of second floor, what you kind of thought in the whole Kanto position?
Useful, solid. If you're active as well, have the elevator open for rotation is always a very good place to go. However, what we're seeing a habit of is that's often the last man alive in a lot of these teams, because they'll generally go for these solid quick pushes, they'll take control, and if you just sit there and let the rest of your team die, well then it's never going to go great. Because it's a good sightline to keep, but what about you?
If I see it, I look at it as a free kill.
Oh.
Because the reason why, if you can't have one guy rappelling to the west side, looking at, you know, that Kanto spot, all it takes is him holding that angle, and a Capitao quick peek in the shield and firing a incendiary. That's a free kill.
Oh, yeah. So all it takes is teamwork?
It's the most predictable spot now. It's not as if it's new. Whenever Kanto did first start playing it, it's simple to counter. It's so easy.
Yeah, but That's the thing about it, is it's kind of predictable, it's kind of easy, you know where it is, but a lot of defenses, it'll be rooted behind at least some stuff, especially in LATAM, where they're playing these aggressive roams and they're playing these aggressive positions underneath and around. That Capitao wants to swing and wants to get the bolt, but getting there in that position, unhindered and without having at least 2 other players worrying you based on roaming underneath, that's where the nightmare comes in this region.
You know, destination, that's where you want to go, but it's the journey that's the hard bit.
Oh, that Echo drone just got spotted by the other drone.
It's like, hey, what are you doing here?
Oh, you didn't see anything. Jesus.
Yeah, I live here now. They're flatmates.
Yeah, well, the Echo drone is a nice idea that was seen in the Na'Vi playbook, and now I'm glad to see it's made its way across.
It wasn't solely a Na'Vi play.
Yeah,
it was like the first time we seen it, but
can we claim it as Na'Vi though? They are our country folk.
Countrymen.
Yeah.
Country boys, the boys, that boy.
The boys.
I'm with the boys.
With the boys. I'm with the boys. Who would have thought they would get a shout out here?
Yeah. Can't believe I've done that.
I know. They're going to clip you for days. And now we can see, obviously, they're rotating around, going to try and get this big window. They are pushing against Kanto. They know someone is buried inside the elevator. No! Through the wall! And the grenade kills the teammate as well!
Oh my god!
That was big brain plays there.
That's 2 for 1. It's 2 for 1 special right there. Buy one, get one free.
How unfortunate there for the attackers, but a brilliant, brilliant swing and timing there from the defenders. Waited and debated that hold. The hole is going to blow open. They're worried about rotating just in that close corner there. The pings are coming.
See the barrel? They know he's there.
They know he's there, and Dowett is just going to have to move, and Gridlock manages to shut that down from the side, and there is Drunks locking it down, and now it's just a matter of making their way inside to this point.
So unfortunate, though, to lose your IQ as well, just from the nade. That is ridiculous, but still, 3-on-3, 35 seconds, you have to favor Furious in this scenario, simply because that Echo's alive, and with no IQ, of course, being on the board after being team killed, that makes it so much more powerful. Still smoke grenades on the hand of Drunks. Let's see if he uses some of them. Yes, they will get tossed in, of course, along with the track stingers. They can try and sanction off as much as he can, but that Echo drone has to be coming in from Furious. Yes, he's careful of it. He's seen it, but no, didn't actually catch a glimpse of it. And now Drunks, he needs to go for the swing, and he's trying to hold it, but he needs to make a play, because Echo's still alive and well. Duds, they know he's still an elevator, but can he deny it? Oh, there's a kill from Duds. C4, but too late from FJ. Diffuser's been planted. Sure, he gets the kill, but a 1v2 retake, and with Drunks still being on the window, they know where he is. They've spotted him out. FJ. 2 players just so far away from each other, and INTZ just barely make that a success thanks to Duds.
That grenade kill is still sticking with me. That's going to be that's a nightmare for the players in a few upcoming days. But 6-3 match point. Yet again, they've taken another attacking round. They look very, very good when they're pushed against the wall. They can really just kind of bring it together. They're opting for CEO again. They think they can take it, and it did come down a bit to the wire. I am curious, what was the delay in the C4 from below? There wasn't really anything that was hampering him at that point, and it was great play from INTZ to hunt down and shut down the Echo, knowing he's so blinkered onto the plant. But at the same time, I'm a bit curious as to what was the slowdown with the C4 below. But we'll see if they can be a little bit quicker, a little bit sharper this time around. Echo currently not on the board, and won't be on the board. They're going to try and take this with a little bit less reliance on those late round drones, and a bit more aggression here.
Nitty-gritty for Furious. They have to go perfect, not a single step to be out of place. They want to pull this back and take us to OT, but INTZ just look like the more stronger team. Look, everything about them. They seem more coordinated in terms of their pushing potential, their aggressive nature, and just the overall 1v1 gunfight has been swinging in favor of INTZ.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about them is obviously attack is the maker of a team. Attack is when you really can see how things can come together.
That's where you see a great team.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it's nice to see them kind of pulling out these situations. Some of the firefights, as I said, it's not as decisive as, say, when we saw Liquid earlier tonight.
Yeah.
but at the same time, it is coming together. It is kind of finding their way through the map. They're finding their way well against Furious, and you know, it's hard to sometimes find your way back into a game when it starts to get away from you a little bit.
So let's have a look and see what Furious have in store for us. Pretty standard in terms of reinforcement placements. There's that one rotation hole, however, in towards that front desk, which could help them or could also kind of break their defense entirely if INTZ managed to get themselves in a position to kind of utilize that rotation hole to their advantage. A couple of C4s, you know, you have the Mute there, you also have the Mozzie. ACOG, Doc, see how much he can do, because typically we expect Doc to do a lot of damage on the top floor at CEO. You have a lot of long sight lines, of course, and hopefully this time for INTZ, we don't see the old nade kill.
I mean, I'm sure that is their nightmare. There's the drop down in the rotation from underneath. That sledge might catch it as they pull out of janitors and look to find somewhere else. And there's the wide swing peak. Gridlock and Castle yet again finding a battle. And Gridlock almost the victor for the second time in a row, but it is FJ that is the first off the board and quickly followed. VNXZ has just found their way in. Zupa shuts down Vitz, but there is the further push, a triple kill for the IQ that has just wandered onto point and wondering where the defenders are. All of them are out the equation here. Duds finds another, and it's a 4 versus 1. Can Zupa, the Superman with the super DPI, find a way to pull this? No, unfortunately not. He's dead.
Oh, you went really hyped there and all of a sudden just cut out.
Well, that is the end of map 1. Obviously, that was Villa out, and Villa? Yeah, Bank.
Villa out?
Bank. Villa, we've just seen Villa so many times today. Billa is, I'm still messing.
Villa.
You take over.
Villa.
Just you do it.
I'll do it. Flick's gone.